Dear Mom, I love you. Please do not talk mean to me. Love, Max. So I wanted to do a little story time with you guys about apologizing to kids because the Jewish holiday of Yom Kippur is coming up, and Yom Kippur is all about atoning for our sins and learning how to do the magic spiritual art of apologizing where we have made mistakes. And this includes apologizing to your children. Have you ever apologized to your kid? It does not feel good. It's really scary. I think for me, I'm like, I don't want my child to see me as perfect. I understand that that's limiting and not helpful. So I definitely am fine for my kids to see me make mistakes, but I don't want them to doubt my parenting. I don't want them to doubt my authority. And if I apologize to them, it scares me that they might think, well, they might be shaken. You know what I mean? They might think that I don't really know what's going on, don't have full control of the situation, and maybe that would affect things in the long term. But what I've learned through lots of research on parenting, as well as psychology, as well as Jewish beliefs on the topic, as well as just my own personal experience of a mom of 3 little boys, is that the opposite is true. When you teach your children how to apologize through actual demonstrations, by actually apologizing to them when you've made a mistake, it creates an even stronger bond with them, an even more real bond with them, and one that's not just based on blind authority or fear or anything like that. So as the Jewish holiday of Yom Kippur is coming up, it's just around the corner after Rosh Hashanah, I thought it would be good to share some truth with you guys, share a real honest story that happened when I apologized to my kids recently, the note I received, and everything like that. So if you've been in a similar situation, definitely share your thoughts about it with me and what you guys think about this concept, especially how it ties into Judaism, because to me, those values are a really big part of this story. Okay, so let me set the scene. The time I messed up. Okay, I make mistakes all the time, but this was a big one. So my husband was out of town. He was on a trip, and he was gone for like 4 nights, which is a long time when you're a stay-at-home mom with 3 little kids. And for me, I always struggle around bedtime, even when he is here, and he helps. He like does most of the bedtime, but it's just a long day. So by the time bedtime comes, I'm at my most exhausted, my least patient, and that's the time when the kids need me the most, or need a parent the most. That's the time they're nervous about, separation at night, sleep, they don't want to go to bed. So it's like this major conflict in parenting between bedtime, between what a parent's feeling, where they just want the kids to go to sleep so they can have some time to themselves to relax and enjoy and just, decompress from the day, versus the kids who are like desperately trying to hold on to the parents and don't want to go to bed. So that's the scene. So we were on, I think, night 4 of this solo parenting adventure. And by the way, for any like actual single moms, solo moms, or solo dads and single dads out there, I am in awe of you. And I thought that the whole week that my husband was gone, I was like, I literally don't know how I would physically do it. It is so, so, so hard physically to take care of all these little ones, without that help. Anyways, that's an aside. So that's the scene. I was at my most exhausted. It was bedtime. And my kids were all in the bath together, which is a struggle because I have a 6-year-old, a 3-year-old, and an almost 1-year-old. So mostly I'm just making sure the almost 1-year-old is okay, but he wants to bath with the big brothers and they love having him in there, and I can't really bathe them separately, and it's a thing. So anyways, so the littlest he was done in the bath, so I took him out and I was just like toweling him off. And then the bigger 2 decided to open the shampoo bottle, and it was like a brand new one, this super fancy organic shampoo. It's called Baby Botanicals if anyone's interested. I love it. A huge bottle of it. They just opened it up like within 1 second and dumped the whole thing out. And I was so mad at them because I felt like I hate when they disrespect things in the house, because it's such a value of mine. just everything, the Jewish values, like tikkun olam, taking care of our things, being grateful for what they have, like knowing how privileged they are. So I was just really upset that they would do something like that. And in their mind, they're 6 and 3. Like, they're just being silly. Yes, they should know better. They did know better. They were doing it, you know, on purpose, just to be crazy. So I was so mad. I took one of the bath toys. I was in the bath and I threw it on the ground and I said, get out of the bath right now. If you guys are going to destroy things of mine, I'm going to destroy things of yours, like by throwing the toy. That was one of, if not the lowest moments I have had as a parent. I never really get angry. I'm an extremely patient person. That's not true. I feel anger, but I don't really express it, and I never like throw anything, or I rarely yell, you know, so it was just so out of character for me, and I was just at my, you know, most exhausted, most frustrated, and they, you know, dumped this whole bottle of shampoo out, so I was just at my worst, and I just took one of their dinosaurs and threw it on the floor. It didn't break or anything like that. It was like a little plastic bath toy, but it was just very out of character for me. So they got out of the bath, and in that moment, I knew I would apologize later. I knew I had done something that I felt was not right and not fair to them. So in my mind, I knew I was gonna apologize, but I didn't say anything at the time because I was still very upset. I still had 3 children running around that I needed to get to bed. It just wasn't the right time to decompress and talk about it. So I put the baby to bed. I got my younger one in bed. We talked about it. And I'll share a little bit of that, but I want to focus on my oldest because that was more of a conversation that like he can really understand, you know? So at bedtime, I came to him, I gave him a big hug, and I said, I'm so sorry I threw your toy. That was not okay. It is not okay to throw toys, and it's definitely not okay for mommy to throw your toy. I said, I'm so tired, and I just really wanted to go to bed. You know, Dad's been away the past few days, and I've had to do a lot on my own, so I'm just more tired. And that's why I got so upset. It wasn't because I don't like you, or you are not a bad kid at all. You made a bad choice that I didn't like with this shampoo, but that's okay. People make bad choices, and I made a bad choice throwing the dinosaur. So that's how I talked about it with him, and it was so interesting because immediately he said, that's okay. And he said like just a really sweet thing. He said, I know you made a mistake and didn't mean it, which I just thought was really sweet. He was like, it was almost like he knew I wasn't like that, it was out of character for me, and it was like he had forgiven me, if that makes sense. He was like, I know, like, you know, you made a mistake. And that's when I realized like it's so important to apologize to our kids, because it really signals to them that that was out of character and that was a mistake. It's better that they know that you make mistakes and get angry or whatever once in a while than that is this like part of your personality that you don't need to apologize for, that is just the way it is, if that makes sense. Anyways, so the next day he wrote me that card, and I definitely knew he was still kind of processing what had happened. I had also just been like, you know, way more short-tempered over those days and yelled more than I usually do. So I think he was still, you know, thinking about all of that. So when he gave me the note, I just said, thank you so much for sharing your feelings with me and letting me know. And I definitely do not want to talk mean again, and I'll try my best to do that. So that is my story, my mean mom moment. I know as parents we all have them from time to time, but I think during this time of Rosh Hashanah, the high holidays, and Yom Kippur, it's a reminder to take this opportunity to teach our children how to apologize. If they never learn, and repeating I'm sorry after they do something is obviously, we all know, not a real apology. If they never learn that, and they never learn that repair in moments of calm, then they don't have those skills to take them into adulthood, and they're so important. And I think we also in our family try to model it in front of them, like even between me and my husband. If I'm going to say sorry for something that's like appropriate for them to hear, I'm happy for them to hear me say that I'm sorry, and to hear that conversation with my husband, because again, it's just like modeling it. So in Judaism, at Yom Kippur, we are required to apologize for the things we've done wrong, even the ones we don't know that we've done wrong. So I think it's a beautiful time to have like a bedtime conversation with your kid and just ask them, like, have I done anything that hurt your feelings? You know, the Jewish holiday of Yom Kippur is coming up, and I want to make sure I apologize for that. And just have that conversation with them. Give them something to think about. And even if they're like, no, everything's fine, at least they're still processing it, and maybe you won't have this like breakthrough conversation with them, but it just plants those seeds. So that's my little story time. I love sharing this with you guys and just being real and being honest about what parenting is like when you're down in the throes of it. So thank you for listening to my story time. I'm wishing you a Gmar Chatima Tova for Yom Kippur. May you be sealed for a good year, a year of health and happiness. And if I have offended you in any of my videos, which if you've been watching all of them, I'm sure I have, I apologize. My goal on this channel is always to be welcoming, to listen to other sides, to take in what you guys, the feedback that you give me, you know, when I've hurt feelings and when I've done something wrong in that capacity. So I am genuinely sorry, and I want to do better for the next year. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up button to let me know you like this video and to make more like them. And hit the red subscribe button if you haven't yet. Thanks so much. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.